Well, did we get to noon? 12:09. Shucks. So close. Hi there, friends and neighbors. Stevie Coyle here at Mighty Fine Guitars in Lafayette, California with the Friday noontime Facebook webcast that gets sent over to the Mighty Fine Guitars page here on Facebook, as well as to YouTube and Instagram. So if you're watching this after the fact, check out the conversation down below. This one's going to have to be a little bit short because I got people waiting to come in and play guitars. But I did want to show you this one fabulous guitar. Let me make sure that nobody's standing on the cord between here and there. Come on, Missy. Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay, looks like we've got picture and sound, which is all we can hope for. Hey, all one of you, come on in. Feel free to share this video with your friends and neighbors online here as well. This today's featured guitar is a Bourgeois, Dana Bourgeois all-koa OMSC is the designation. It's an OM size guitar cutaway, and it's quite fantastic, as you can see. Now, it looks fabulous, of course. This is all-koa, top, back, and sides, all totally primo koa wood. But it goes one step beyond. It could stop right here, but it sounds really good too, and plays like a dream. Let me face the mic here. Oh, excuse me. Koa had, well, here, let me play a little bit first. Wow, Koa's got a particular sound to it. If you don't have a Koa guitar in your collection, let me suggest you consider it, because it does a whole different thing. So many of the guitars we're accustomed to playing have spruce tops. There are gradations and flavors of spruce. As Frank Ford, God rest him, used to say, spruce is spruce. True enough, but there are certain reputations assigned to various spruce guitar tops in particular. It makes a great top. Sitka makes a great top. Bog standard Sitka spruce makes a great top because it's really stiff and you can make it really thin, which means you can brace it lightly and it'll be really resonant. A lot of great guitars. Sitka has gotten a reputation for being kind of bog standard. There are other flavors. Getting back to Koa, as I will, Koa has a whole different reputation. Typically, Koa sounds pingy. It's so hard to talk about sound. As you know, I complain about this bitterly, frequently. Koa has a reputation for being harsh, or brittle, or pingy, or something. This one is none of that. In fact, in a blind taste test, if somebody handed me this guitar, I'm not sure I would guess this as Koa, except that I'd know it was something different. It's not spruce. I would have been able to tell you that in a blind taste test. Something about the overtone stack is not sprucey at all. It's, I hate to use the term flatter. It's more even. Is that less pejorative? It's a great fingerpicking guitar. I'm not sure I'd recommend it for strummers or single note stuff. Maybe single note stuff, but it doesn't saturate the way my ear expects, being an old Martin guy, that my ear expects a guitar to saturate. Hey, J.D. Miller. Nice to see you. Come on in. Loved your new glasses, by the way. It's got a real evenness to it. Two things. If you don't have a Koa guitar in your collection, reasons to consider one, maybe this one. are that koa records really beautifully because of its evenness. This one in particular, because it doesn't have that ping, that kind of sharp, high, super sibilant sort of sound that you may have to equalize out of recording a koa guitar. This one, beautiful, even response across the spectrum. Great articulation. Hey, Kevin. This guitar has other advantages for a fingerstyler like myself. 12 frets to the body pushes the bridge down in the middle of the lower bout instead of closer to the sound hole the way it would show up on a 14-fret guitar. That gives you more intense articulation and kind of punchiness. And so that's the 12-frettedness of it. The body joins here at the 12th fret. But you've got the cutaway up here for the meedly notes if you play them. They're easier to get to. By my lights, this is kind of the golden mean guitar for fingerstyle. 12 frets to the body, but a cutaway to restore access that you would lose on a regular non-cutaway guitar. And it sounds the same down here as it does up here. It's got some of that flutiness that happens on a spruce top guitar or a mahogany or rosewood back guitar. Really comfortable. 1 3/4 inches across here. And what's the string spacing? 2 1/4 string spacing at the saddle. 12 fret ebony fingerboard and ebony bridge, mahogany neck, koa top, back and sides. Yeah. 1997. So for you bourgeois heads, this is before Pantheon, this is before Eastman, this is before any of that stuff, before the fire, any of that stuff. The gentleman who owns it called the factory to see what the serial number would designate, and it came up in 1997. It's in fantastic shape. Check it out. Look at that. This is like one of those postcards where the surfer surfs down the thing. Lenticular is what it is. Lively. Doink, 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 doink. Beautiful sides koa as well. Ivoroid binding. Ebony bridge and fingerboard. Bound fingerboard. Lovely binding here. Classy, classy guitar. I'll play it a bit more for you and then turn you loose and encourage you to, those of you that can, come to Hardly Strictly Bluegrass next weekend in San Francisco. Uber in. Take one of those Ubers if you're really bold. Go Waymo and take one of those Jaguars that are wired up with washing machines on the top that are spinning around and keeping you from running into things. Driverless cars. That's the way to do it. Don't mess with parking. Parking in San Francisco is bad enough anyway. But on Hardly Strictly weekend, when hundreds of thousands of people descend on Golden Gate Park for a fabulous time. Once you get there, you're great. But getting there is the tricky bit. And Ubering is the way to go. You can park in the outside, in the surrounding neighborhoods, and then Uber the rest of the way. Or stroll. It's going to be fabulous weather. I promise. So that's next weekend. And the Wednesday after that, the Quitters are going to be playing in Golden Gate Park again at the Big Band Shell. So come on out. That'll be kind of an evening-ish show, as I recall. I have to look myself. QuittersDuo.com. October 9th, we'll be playing there. What else do I have to sell you? Nothing. Just guitars. To that point, as they say on the internet all the time and too much, to that point, you can check out any of the guitars here online at mightyfineguitars.com. A lot of them have videos attached to them where you can see me do little conversations like this. If there's something else that you would like to see, it's easy for me to set up my little camera and microphone like this and give you an idea of what a particular guitar sounds like. So even if you're not in the area, for the cost of, let's say you didn't like the guitar I shipped you. Fair enough. I wouldn't want you to keep a guitar you didn't love. It's got to be love. If it wasn't love, then ship it back and just cover shipping both ways. Depends on where you are in the country. Shipping to the East Coast these days is about $140, I think. I sent a guitar down to Georgia, another one to Florida recently. About $140. So for a $280 adventure, if that's in your budget, you can experiment with any of these guitars. Just ship them back in the same box. Get 48 hours turnaround period to examine the guitar, decide if it's love. And that's easily done. I ship them out, you hang on to them and ship them back. And we've arranged the dollars in the meantime online. Simply simple. Cinchy. I'm thinking blues on this guitar in particular because it's so even. It has some of that evenness that the old ostensible blues guitars did from recordings from the 20s and 30s, which were cheap. Those were Montgomery Ward, Sears, Lyon & Healy, Washburn, inexpensive guitars, dime store guitars. I had occasion years ago for Acoustic Guitar Magazine to do a shootout amongst ostensible ostensible blues guitars, and some of them were just too fancy and nice to qualify. They didn't have that evenness. It wasn't even that they were too fancy, they were too resonant. They had too many overtones. For something where you want the information to get out quickly and you want it to die off fairly quickly as well. Mahogany works great, a mahogany top guitar. Some of the old spruce guitars do that depending on the size and the construction. Sometimes the sound you're after is a less expensive guitar, but part of that sound, I think, is the evenness of it. This one has really interesting and different overtones. I hope they're getting through in some way. Just the way those two notes combine. Tons of sustain, but not a lot of regeneration, not that big cathedral kind of sound. The sound keeps going out and out and out, like you would get with a rosewood guitar, like a Brazilian rosewood guitar, Madagascar rosewood, or any of those big, hard, super resonant woods. It's really even, so I love listening to those little half steps on a guitar. Lots of sustain, but not a lot of overtone regeneration is what I have to say if I was going to get even remotely scientific about it. Let me check and see who's here. Hey, Dr. Joel. Hey, Dan. Yeah, Dan, congrats. Looks like you've got a great guitar on the way from Santa Cruz. Excellent. Larry Pattis? Of course. Dr. John Wittenberg, very good. And J.D. Miller, terrific. There's others of you. Do feel free to sign in and say hello. I'm always interested to see where people are signing in from. So anyway, that's a little rundown on the Bourgeois OMSC from 1997, all-koa, pre-Pantheon, pre-Fire, pre-Eastman, Dana Bourgeois, when a bourgeois was a bourgeois. And this is one, and it's really moderately fabulous. Look at that. And it plays music too. Notes come out of it. It doesn't just look this good hanging on the wall. It really is kind of stunning against the green of my shop here. This guitar just pops, as the artistes say. Well, there you are, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Comments and questions, post them down below. I'll get to them as quick as I can. Next week, I'm going to be featuring a guitar or two by a gentleman named Bruce Potter, who came in and brought me a couple of really remarkable things, really quite remarkable. So stay tuned for that. No, stay tuned. Tune in again next week at the Friday noontime webcast from Mighty Fine Guitars in Lafayette, California. And look for this over on YouTube, Instagram, and the Mighty Fine Guitars page here on Facebook as well. Comments and questions, load them up. I'll get to them as quick as I can. Great to see everybody. Thanks for tuning in. The Friday noontime webcast signing off. Be-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.